Hello, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining in. This is Potluck from Future, and before we start, I think it would be nice, like since we're a small group, we can keep things more casual, and maybe like we can get a little bit more time to talk to each other. So this will be an interactive session where we will be playing around with ideas from possible futures about our shared food system. So I will just quickly introduce myself, and we can just take turns to just take one sentence to tell about ourselves. So my name is Azra. I'm a PhD student at IIT's Institute of Design, and I'm also a design researcher. I'm pretty healthily obsessed with collective impact and the food system, and I'm exploring ways to use our collective imagination to think about alternative food futures and learn from each other's ways of imagining these. So I'll just pass the word to our participants. So if you can just take 1 minute to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, as well as the co-facilitators that we have in here. Amy, would you like to go ahead? I'll just
I can go.
Spotlight.
Yeah, hi, my name's Amy. I recently graduated from UIC, and there I studied urban planning, and I'm also really interested in food systems, and I also love urban design, so that's why I'm here and excited.
Great to meet you. Who's next?
I can go next, if that's fine.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Hi, my name is Birnur, and I'm a product designer, studied advanced product design in Umeå Institute of Design in Sweden. And now I work as a product designer at Philips in the Netherlands. And it's also a topic that I'm hugely interested in. So I'm also happy to join this session as a co-facilitator.
Nadia, you can just unmute yourself and take the word, please.
Sorry, I didn't hear who you spotlighted, but if not, I can go next.
Please.
Okay, great. My name is Joanna. I am a master's student at the Institute of Design. I'm getting my master's in design, but also getting an MBA at the business school at Illinois Tech. And my undergraduate degree is from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. Sorry, there's a train going by right now. There it goes. But definitely interested in speculative design, and personally I'm interested in this. I just became a vegetarian right around Thanksgiving, so I've been a part of this new food journey myself, so super excited to be here.
Thank you. Laura, would you like to share a bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Laura Forlano. I'm an associate professor at the Institute of Design, and luckily working with Azra as her primary advisor on this project. Very interested in designing futures, of course. I do a lot of writing about health, medical related topics, specifically around networked medical devices at the moment. So I'm really excited to participate in this workshop and meet you all. Thanks.
Thank you. It's always great working with Laura. Alex, can we hear from you? Hello.
Alex just posted in the chat. She just said, hi, I'm Alex, and she's calling in today from Routers Park.
Yeah, nice to have you here. Is it Jean or Jean? Would you like to share just a sentence about yourself? We're trying to keep things casual since we're a small group here. You can just unmute yourself, or you can post in the chat, however you feel comfortable.
Hey, I'm Jeannie. I am one of the founders of Northern Illinois Young Farmers. And I was interested in coming today because I'm interested in the idea of like strengthening our radical imagination for collective change.
That's amazing. We're on the same page here. Gary, can we shortly hear from you?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Gauri. I'm a Master of Design student at the Institute of Design along with Joanna. And this is my last semester. I'm graduating. That's exciting. I've been a vegetarian all my life. And I think we're working right now on a project on sustainable cities in a class at ID. And this fits right in with the food system. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Enrique, can we hear from you quickly?
Enrique also posted in the chat. He said, "Saludos, everyone. This is Enrique, joining from Brighton Park. Happy to be here." And you probably recognize Enrique's name because he is one of the co-facilitators of this amazing event.
Yeah, glad to have him joining us. And I think we have Wesleyan as the last one, the person we didn't hear from.
Hi, Azra. Hi, everyone. This is Wesleyan Ashton from the Illinois Institute of Technology, and I am driving on 290. I am a professor with joint appointments at the Business School and Design School at IIT, and my work is on systems transformation. So I've been doing a lot of work in the food system in Chicago and working with CIFAC, thinking about how we center these ideas of collective care and sustainability to transform the food system so that it works for everyone. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here too. I'm working with both Laura and Wesleyan and really glad to have them on board. So I will just quickly share my screen and have a quick introduction about what we're going to do, and then we can just dive right in. Can you see the presentation now? Perfect. So welcome to Potluck from Future. Today we'll be tinkering with possible futures. This is a very hands-on and interactive session about imagining together. So we did all our introductions together. So I'll just pass this. So I'll just want to quickly tell about like why I'm interested in food and about my journey coming here. I'm not from Chicago. I came from Turkey 3 years ago to have my PhD here. And since I came here, food was always a big part of getting to know the US and getting to know the local context here, getting to know the culture, getting to know the dilemmas, the conflicts in this country and the history that is here. So it's always been an impressive journey for me from getting to know different flavors from my international roommates, feeling the shock of capitalism the first time I entered the supermarket and tried to find the bread, and there was like 50 different varieties. And I was like, what is going on in this place? And like getting to see all of these different vegetables and fruits that I never saw and tasted before in my life. The first time I tried a mac and cheese from Dunkin' Donuts, and that was the toughest frustration that I had in my life. And really seeing all this, getting exposed to all this urban farming and all of these communities works to transform food system, which is something that we don't yet have as strongly in Turkey. And this is also a journey of my relationship with my body, getting to know how nutrition and food affects my body and going through health conditions and exploring different diets and how my body reacts to every one of them. I was an omnivore. I turned vegetarian 2 years ago, and since a year, I've been gluten-free. So it's all about experimenting with food internally and externally, and really thinking about how it shapes my relation to myself and our relation to everything else. So that's why, like, I think food is a very essential thing for me to work on. And I'm really happy to join this exploration together with all of you who are passionate about this. So this session is about our shared food futures, which are made up not only how we make things, how we take action, and how we shape things, but it's also about our worldviews, values, dreams, and visions, something that we've been talking about since the beginning of the summit and in all the previous summits, I guess. And this session is about reflecting on the idea that there is no single future that we're headed for, or there's no single recipe for that, but there are plural possibilities that we can explore when we engage with futures and we imagine futures. And it's also about embracing the same idea when we think about the food system, that there is no single understanding of system or the issues, but it all depends on the vantage point, the relational place through which we're looking at the system. And I think there is a lot to uncover if we were just to be able to look at things from each other's vantage points and mix and match these ideas and dreams that we have about the futures. So this session basically asks to explore together, what if we could dream collectively to imagine alternatives to the current unsustainable food practices that we have, so that we can extend the possibilities beyond what we think is the future and really learn from each other and dream together. I'd like to mention what this session is not about, not to mislead anyone. So this session is not about finding solutions, but it's about exploring together and really tinkering with ideas. This session is not about listing all the possible futures that might be there and building a theory of everything that can explain everything. And this session is definitely not about talking what is a right and wrong future, but it's really about thinking about the consequences, about having all of these possibilities existing all at once and what it means for what we're doing today. So this workshop was developed as part of my doctoral research on doing this research in food and in design definitely made it into a fun journey for me. So this is food imaginaries research, and I would like to use the learning that we have together in this session to build up on this research. So we'd like you to sign the consent form to contribute to the research, so that we can build new ways to tell the story of food and share it with the people who are working on this. If you have any questions, if you'd like to talk about it at all, or if you have any critique, please just shoot me an email at this address that I'll also share in the chat. So I'm always open to talk and exchange ideas and to collaborate. So I'd just like all of us to take a few seconds to close our eyes, take a deep breath, and think about what comes to our minds when we think care and caring. We can think about the past year, about our family relations, about the tables we shared. Just take a minute to let the ideas, images, memories, thoughts flow in your head. Now, can we just take a second all together to write it in the chat? What was the thing that popped in your eyes, in your head? I'm really curious about Michaela's kombucha combos. letters from friends, the packages that we receive from our family, the smell of home, the Christmas Eve when we make dishes together, potluck, sourdough bread, sharing it with friends, chicken soup, unselfish acts of kindness, and more from kombucha. I think there is something special about sharing kombucha. So yeah, when we think about care and caring, it always comes from a personal standpoint, and it always relates to our personal experience. So that's why I care a lot about like sharing these experiences, sharing these viewpoints, and really finding out new possibilities by intersecting these. So I'll just quickly walk us through what we're gonna do today, and we can dive right in. So we will be Potluck from the Future is an experiment where we will grab a food from a future scenario to present it in a potluck that we will be having at the end. So you will be getting transported to a future, a kitchen in a possible future, and you will be working in this future, working with the ingredients that have made their way to that timeline to prepare a meal that shows how you care in this future. What is the story of care in this future, and how does food tell this story? So we'll have 15 minutes to create the food with our team in the kitchen. And then we will have another 10 to 15 minutes to have our potluck together, where we will bring these meals together and talk about what we created and what it means to us. And at the end, we'll just have a discussion toast to see like what this experience meant for us and what we learned from it. So just a couple of reminders. We're looking for open minds and open hearts in this session. We'll be going really fast, so noise is welcome. Don't be shy. Don't be shy to unmute your sound. Don't be shy to open your camera. Just be all present and be all in, and we will share this experiment together. We celebrate the weirdness. The weirder, the better. There is no right and wrong in this session. And the support is always here with the co-facilitators and with Meka and tech support. So if you need anything at all, just like feel free to ask anyone. Now we will separate into breakout rooms where each group will be working with the facilitator. So before we jump in, are there any questions or comments? How are you feeling about it? You can just pause in the chat. All right, yeah, I'm hungry too. Okay, then we'll just dive right into the breakout rooms and see you in 15 minutes.
Do I get to join a room?
Would you like to?
Which is a cooler room?
Both are cool. I'm not sure. Are you able to see the rooms?
I can.
Okay, then you're free to join any room that you want. I'm going to join room 2.
Michaela, do you want to go in room 1? I'll go in room 2.
Sure.
Easy. We'll tag team. Okay.
Sounds great.
Join. It won't let me join. What?
It's not letting me join either.
Welcome back. How was it? It was a quick session. I know maybe it would be more fun to dive in deeper. So let's have a quick share out of what we've been working on, and we'll have like 2 short presentations from each group, and after each group presents, we can take just a minute to share our thoughts, and please feel free to share them in the chat as well. So I'll just share my screen. We're able to see the board, is that correct? Okay, we can start with the first one, Chicago Public Nutrition Lab. So could you just tell a little bit about what future you're bringing this food from? What food you picked, and why did you pick this food? What story of care does it tell? And if you haven't picked anyone to present, we can just have a volunteer from the group.
I can give it a stab. We picked chili, and the story of care that we tried to tell with chili was something very warming, perhaps even in a winter or cold month, and themes of sort of self-care and invoking positive emotions. And another piece of that was talking particularly about the concept of making it slowly as you do chili and savoring time and the ingredients as well. I'm not sure we got to that much about using the innovations, but we did talk about a future where maybe even the rooms or the way we eat food is different.
Are there any other thoughts from anyone else from the group? Anything else you'd like to add? One thing I'm curious about, since you said like you didn't relate as much to the technical possibilities that was in there, do you have any thoughts about like why wasn't it relating for you, or like did you like what was the thought process for you? Not because you needed to relate, just curious what was going on.
I think mostly it took us a little bit of time to circle around the food we would like to choose and the story of care. So maybe just on a practical note, we had a little less time than we needed. Mm-hmm. And maybe also we're not inventive thinkers. I don't know. We did talk about the eat a mood technology, and that was kind of our entry point, but that's where we ended.
Yeah, no, I think that's already a lot to do. It's a lot to take, and there's a lot of information in here. And as I said in the beginning, we're not trying to arrive to something complete or something very deep, but it's more about having this sandbox to play with these future ideas. And yeah, from the other group, please feel free to share your thoughts in the chat. And then I'll just move to the other board, as we have just a few minutes left. So we're in Vita Life R&D Experiment Kitchen, which is another future scenario that our food is coming from. So would you like to just like share about what this future is about and what food you picked and what story of care is this telling?
Yeah, we had a lot of conversation about just finding different ways. I say finding, but really rediscovering different recipes and different ways of utilizing food that is lost, or food that just has been left behind from the industrial corporations. We were talking about just like different ways of things that are maybe considered waste or considered weeds or considered unedible are actually have a lot of nutrient, actually have a lot of flavor if you know how to prepare them. So we were thinking through like a little cup of mushroom tea sweetened by dandelion honey, and the little tag on the tea bag would have seeds that you could plant it, and the baggie that the sleeve that the tea bag comes in would be would have a recipe on it. So that's something that you could then, like, you know, try out that recipe yourself, share it with someone, share it with someone over a cup of tea.
I find it very interesting, like how the two ideas sort of connect in this moment of like comfort and coziness, and maybe it's because we're all somewhat influenced by the Chicago winter that's going on and seeking that intimacy with some warmth. But what are your thoughts before we close about like having the possibilities of these features? So like just to debrief a little bit, one thing that we have is that these are not necessarily different features, but both of these narratives that we played around with are actually extracted and amplified from the things that we're talking about in the Chicago food ecosystem today, the things that different organizations, companies, and communities are talking about. So all of these features are actually happening today at the same time and existing together. So I'd just like to hear about your feelings or your thoughts about playing with these different ideas and different objects.
I can say something. I feel like throughout like the workshop, I kind of just think it shows the power of like innovation when it comes to food. Like especially like when we were thinking about the tea, like just coming up with like creative ideas to use things that, you know, like dandelions that, you know, we were saying are like weeds, but to use them for their nutrients. And same thing with mushrooms, and that they're so powerful. And now they have like mushroom coffee. So I think, and especially I know ours had like the plant-based sausage. I think the power of, especially like plant-based, I know we have some vegetarians here, like I'm one too. And I feel like the power of like plant-based technology is really awesome, because when we think about like climate change and like how agriculture contributes to that, I think one way we can foster care is just like caring for the environment and lessening the impact of that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really interesting. Is there anyone else who'd like to share their thoughts?
I really like what Ryan put it in the chat, and I feel in the same way. I think it was a really nice comment.
The act of thinking about these things even brings an element of hope and care to me in this present moment. Yeah, I think like that's part of what we're curious about, like how does it change the things that we deal with at the present when we're exposed to these different ideas that might not be in our direct proximity. And if you find these things interesting to play with, or if you find that this kind of reflection might be interesting in for you in your work or in what you're doing in the field, I would just be happy to connect with anyone to hear about your critique, to hear about your thoughts, and maybe to discuss ways to work together. I really, really appreciate everyone's commitment and sharing your feelings, opening your minds here. And I'm kind of glad that we're in a small group and we're able to just talk with each other, and rather than like just staying in the chat. So is there anything else that anyone else would like to add before we close?
I'm just going to thank everyone for attending this session. Since this session is super different from a lot of our other sessions, we'd really appreciate your feedback. I'm dropping a link in the chat for you to provide feedback, and that is not only helpful for us and picking future events and sessions for the summit, but I'm sure will be also very helpful for Alpha.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to like learning from this experiment to build the next ones. So I'd be really, really glad if you can just take a few minutes to sign the consent form that we share in the link, so that we can build up on these learnings to bring new and better experiences together. Thank you so much for joining us and hope to connect with you soon.